step on anything. I wish we had an actual white screen, but this is not good. Hello everybody, my name is Caitlin Southers-Wallace, and I'm here to talk to you about digital art for a little bit. I wanted to give this presentation real quick to show you guys some do's and don'ts of digital art, how to get started in a way that you'll actually get started rather than sitting there mulling over different techniques and ideas the entirety of you trying to start. This piece I did recently. I really enjoy the colors of digital art. Digital art just kind of seems to pop a lot. You don't have to try and worry about getting new colors when you have to get new markers or paints or anything. You don't have to try and worry about mixing colors too much because you can just use the little eyedropper tool and be like, I want this color, and there you go. So, boop. This was a drawing I did when I first got my tablet. It looks cute, but there's a lot of issues with the fact that all the lines that have a point to them, I actually sat there, drew the line, and then had to go through and erase so I had a point. I had to do a lot more work than was needed to get something like this. This took me about 7 hours of actually sitting there and doing it time. Whereas that only took me a couple hours. Full shade, like all this right here would be an example of a weighted line where it comes down to like a little point. It's thicker in some areas, it's thinner in others, but it's a consistent line rather than just a kind of sketchy, weird. You guys will see that at Eddie.
Yes.
They're little wiggle lines. I would compare the older picture to that, where it has the wiggle lines that you can't really like get a smooth, defined edge to. You know, all this detail, all this work, 2 hours. Because I finally figured out I knew what I was doing. So, what you're going to need as a start is, of course, you're going to need a digital tablet, which is pretty much a glorified mouse with extra buttons that can do pressure sensitivity. You're going to need a laptop, which I would show, but I'm recording with it. You're going to need a drawing program, and finally, all you need is your creativity. You know, once you have that, you can do as many things as you want, and all you're going to waste is your time. Which, to be honest, as long as you're practicing and doing things, you're never really wasting your time. So, I'm going to talk about the tablet real quick. The tablet, every tablet needs a driver. No matter if you're told otherwise, you're going to need a driver. I thought I didn't need one because my tablet make and model didn't have a driver on the actual Wacom website. And then I found out that a lot of the older drivers were just lumped into one driver that they called Fun on there. So once you get a driver, you can actually go in there. You can change hotkeys. These right here are my hotkeys. And I changed it so that this button undoes things that I do, and then this button redoes things that I do. And this little scrolly actually does zoom-ins. You can also change the pressure sensitivity. Like, I have a very soft hand when I draw, especially when I'm sketching. So if I go in there and make it a little bit lighter, I actually get the normal lines that you would if you were sketching. Another thing that you need is the program. So there are a lot of free programs. You can get a lot of programs that aren't free for free at your own risk because there might be viruses. Two free programs that I know of that are pretty good for some people are Krita and GIMP. It took me a little while to remember that one. I haven't used GIMP since I was 12. Krita, though, is really good, especially if you like more of a painted style. You don't like to work with as many layers. You can just use it all on one layer and you're good. Also, if you're interested in animation, you should go for Krita because Krita actually has a mode where you can animate things, where it gives you a lot, it gives you the onion layers, it gives you the ability to actually play the animation. It's a really solid program. I personally use Paint Tool Side, which is a program you have to pay for. I did not. I found it online. I was unable to find it again because somebody, I guess, took it down. Some trial programs are out there for Adobe Photoshop, and Sai actually just came out with their second version where they have a trial out. I'm blanking now. After you get all of that set up where you figure out your program, you figure out what brushes you like to use, how you like to put your layers down, how you like to do your sketches, you can figure out different things like finishes and stuff. Here, I'm going to give you a quick showdown. I shouldn't have tied that up. Of what I mean by different finishes. I should probably plug this in to start with. Come on. Doop. Don't want you to fall. Okay. I'm going to stand over here to the side because I don't want my face to be in the way. So here is paint tool size. Paint tool size is personally my favorite. It's very straightforward, you know, black and white. Here's where everything is. So right here, you're going to see the brushes that you have. You can actually delete these and remake new ones with different properties. If you go on Google, you could literally find thousands and thousands of brushes that people already made, and just here's the settings and this is how you set it up. Right here is my little palette of colors that I like to save. The ones that I use a lot are the ones that are just very common, like, you know, black and white. These are just darker shades of colors that I like to use for line art. And way up here is the hue, saturation, and value. You change the hue, you change the color, very simple. Saturation, you go down, it's whiter, you go up, it's more of a vibrant color. And then value, you go down, you get black, you go up, you get more of a vibrant color. To me, it's a lot easier to use than the little wheel tool that they have right here, which you normally see on programs, which, you know, it's useful, it's really good. It's literally the same thing, except this is your hue bar, this right up here is your saturation, and then this right here would be your value bar. Sorry. This is a project I'm working on recently. I thought it'd be the best one to show while I'm talking about this. Another little thing that you have is layers. So right over here is your little layer bars. You know, this one's going to actually show you all the layers that you have, like this is the background, the color. I'm going to start shading on that one, haven't started yet, and then this is my sketch layer. And right up here is actually all the effects you can do. If you click on this guy, right there, the mode, you can change between multiply and other layers that layer the, you know, the color on top instead of just covering it. And I think the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was practice. You know, digital drawing is literally the same thing as just normal art, except for you don't have to pay for all the extra stuff that you want to get for colors and shinies and stuff like that. It's literally, you have to practice a lot. It's a lot of hand-eye coordination. It's a lot of you just sitting there for hours doodling on it to figure out what you like the best from it. It's a lot of just motivating yourself and making sure that you can go through with something, you know, especially if you're going to buy a tablet. Tablets aren't the cheapest thing. Even mine goes for $71 on Amazon. It's pretty much the bare bones of what a tablet is. You can get other ones like from Wacom that are $2,000 plus with all these extra buttons and extra things on the side. Personally, that's just way too complicated for me. I just want a couple buttons. I know a few hotkeys. That's all I need. Learn to take criticism is another thing. Don't be afraid if somebody says something's wrong with your piece. As long as it's constructive criticism, something you can work on, it's good criticism. If it's something like, I don't like your content because they don't appreciate dragons. Like if somebody was like, I hate your drawing because it's a dragon and a dragon killed their family or something, like that's not good criticism. That's really negative criticism. I draw a lot of dragons, I draw a lot of animal people. A lot of people just want to sit there and comment hateful things whenever I post anything, but you just have to find your little community that you want to draw for and draw for it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything that you want to ask, or any kind of like thing that you were wondering about that I didn't cover or didn't really mention or expand upon, feel free to ask. I'll be fine to do a little drawing tutorial or anything that you want to do. What's that?
For Paint Tool Sci, you said that it does require a payment in order to get the program. About how much would you say it is?
Oh god, I haven't checked that out. Normally a lot of, like, there's also Manga Illustrator and a lot of other programs. They'll start out somewhere between like $20 to $60. You know, the more expensive the program, the more stuff that it has. Adobe Photoshop has a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I see people draw with that, and I'm like, I have no idea how you draw with that. That's a lot of stuff to remember. But yeah, just Googling whatever program that you want, you'll find their exact website, and be sure that you feel comfortable actually downloading something from a website, because otherwise, like I said, it will corrupt your computer, you'll get viruses. So don't go searching for free programs. I thought that this program was actually free when I first got it because I got it from someone.
Yeah.
And I found out later that it was not free.
Yeah, because that's when you said it was paid for. It's like, I found a place that had it for free. It's like, is that the wrong one?
Yeah, that I literally was just like, oh, it's just how they download it.
It wouldn't even load on my computer anyway, so in the end.
Yeah. You know, actually this little button down here, right here, is Krita whenever it loads up. Krita I don't like using for the strict fact that it takes up too much RAM on my computer. My computer's a 2009. It is a fossil, and it doesn't like to be bothered as much as that. Krita's cute. Krita has a really nice design. It's really simplistic. I just can't run it. I use it to transfer all of my pictures from the Photoshop file that I always have it in to a PNG file so that it doesn't lose any of the resolution or anything. But yeah, it's about the same thing. Here's the tool. There's all the layers are gonna go right here. All your little like add-on things. I don't know too much about Krita though, because it's like I don't know. It looks
similar to how Photoshop is, because
yeah.
I did get Photoshop with my tablet, but it's just so
extensive.
It's like I don't need this much.
But another thing is I spent many a night looking up things on YouTube, looking up things on Google, trying to figure out why isn't my tablet working properly. Because before, when you don't have a driver installed, it's just a blunt line. It's like you're drawing in binary color all the time.
Right.
It's good for some things, not good for a lot of things, especially if you're really into like having smooth organic lines. And then it's pretty much what you're going with. But yeah, any other questions? Any other things that we would like? Okay, thank you. It was really nice to talk to you all today, and I'm really happy that I got to. I'm really happy that I could answer some questions. Yay!
I will definitely say though, your first drawing on the